Hi everybody, welcome to my channel for a new 9th Age battle report. This is the 5th game of Bellum Lacrum number 6. We were facing TRC, so as a reminder, we won the 4th round. We just climbed above them, so we were first place before this last round, and basically it was a final. They were second, we were first. We had like 3 or 4 points more before the last round, so it's exactly the point in time, or the timing that we wanted, so to be in the lead before the final round. And you see here my new Tusker in my army. I really like this picture, all the Tusker together. So let's go for these 5th games against TRC. How went the pairing? First of all, we throw our Warrior of the Dark God, so we play flags and secure. We throw Warrior of the Dark God, they throw us Vermin Swarm. I went together with KOE. They chose Vermin Swarm against KOE, and I was picked against Highborn Elf Benji on secure target. And the second game, so we picked War of the Dark God, and Demon Legion against ID. So we had 1 green, 1 orange, 1 yellow, and 1 unstable. So basically for KOE, this round was really unstable. It can happen a lot of variance in the games. Regarding the list, you know my list already, and this was my opponent's list. I think it's a list that was designed by Scrub, if I'm not mistaken. At least he played it, I guess. It's basically 5 flyers, so he has the Ancient Dragon, High Prince and Ancient Dragon with full stuff. He has then the usual Griffin Lord, then a BSB on Giant Eagle that is also like cancelling some magical weapon. He has the two Initiate of the Fairy Art that were really good. We'll see what happened after the update. 3 units of Lancers in core as scoring unit, very mobile. Can also add some support charges. 2 Piece of Chaff, Ilan River. 3 River Chariot. And then 2 units of Grey Watcher. So it's a rush list that can do a lot of damage. I think he achieved quite a good amount of points in this tournament, Benji, with this list. So it's an aggro list that needs to be paired carefully, but can do a lot. We played secure target on frontline clash and spell selection. And here, I think to understand the spell selection, you need to understand who won the roll for side. Because when I put orange in the matrix, it was basically to not reflect the fact that I should lose between 6 and 8, which is orange for me. It's more to reflect the fact that it's a matchup where I have no upward hopes, so to say, so I have no big potential in the matchup to win it. And then it depends a lot who starts the game. If I start, I'm pretty confident I can achieve something around the 10, but no big hopes to win it. And if he starts, he can rush me and had good chances of winning it, because he can put the secure target together. Because if I wander all for side, I'm going to place my secure target first. He can put his secure target as close as possible, deploy everything in front, and then I have to choose facing him, and he can rush me really quick, or going the opposite and basically having the risk of losing secure target, which is a big problem. And here, to understand the spell selection, if you see a lot of range damage in both spell selection, it's basically because he won the roll for side and I was able to drop for first. Meaning, he has to choose if he wants to rush me to come in front and with me starting, which could be an issue. So I expected, I was curious to see if he was going to do it or not. And we have a first answer by him picking all damage spell, basically. Like I said, I would be happy to start and minimize his ability to rush me. Could be a dangerous matchup if he starts. I rely mainly on my magic to deal with the 5 flyers, which is not so much. I don't have so many tools to deal with high armor. Even the cavalry could be an issue, and estimation, I just explained that. And here you see it. So how did it go? He picked the top side, put his secure target here all the way to the right, to the left, to his right. And I put myself the opposite flank, and then I drop for first turn. So just to explain you a bit better, because I think the most important part of this game could be at the deployment, because you see often player trying to make a corner and then still get rushed and get tabled, which can happen a lot if you corner in a bad way. And I think there is some significant differences in the way you can do playing your half a table to reduce your opponent's maneuverability. and the way you could just corner and then wait and get rush. So basically what I wanted is still to put a couple of strengths on the left to just tell him, if you don't leave enough forces on the right to secure this one, you could as well potentially lose secondary. Having a causing model could be a way to annoy him, plus a scoring, plus a chariot. So I felt this is just enough to tell him, you need still to invest a couple of resources to win that side. And then if you split your army, having a couple of models on the left and the rest facing me, then it's maybe not enough to rush me. Which makes for him really hard to say, okay, I'm going to rush you and just ignore here, or just put something, but might not be enough to just win this side. So that's the way I did it. I put all my Tuskers on the right, tribesmen, dogs. Here you have my Death Star, one chariot, second chariot that can either move 6 to the side or move behind the impassable, can support this left flank if I need to. My tribesmen here, I made a small but significant mistake looking that way. I debated a bit because I discussed about that with one of my teammates a couple of months ago. The fact that when you put such a unit, you should be facing towards the right, because either your opponent drops facing you and then you just want to go away as soon as possible, or if he doesn't put anything here, you can still wheel and move that way. So basically the distance here being bigger than this one, you should look that way. And I made that at the beginning, and then for some reason I decided to switch and still look that way. I think I felt, yeah, but the chariot might not be able to back off quickly enough to leave me space to do that, and I still want 6 inch apart from them to do panic check and so on. But it was definitely the wrong decision, and he had the giant facing that way. His counter deployment, here you have the Pyro Mage, the green one here is the Alchemy Mage, this is the Ancient Dragon, the 3 Chariot, the BSB, no, the Griffin, the BSB is somewhere here a bit in the back. Then you have Cavalry, the Light Cav, the 2 Grey Watcher. So basically I just minimize all I could do with my magic. Shooting he cannot, but at least magic. And my trappers, the trap, this one is going to move towards my deployment zone to be safe. I want to save as much point as possible and basically try to kill one of his single model with my magic. That's basically the game plan. So let's go. Turn 1, it's very important to, when you start in a corner, to jump out of it as soon as possible. That's something that I say quite often in my battle report, because if you get stuck in the corner, then it can push me very easily. Now I need to win board space to basically have breathing room behind me, and if I need to move back later in the game or flee or something like that, I have space to do that. So yeah, pushing Max with all my units on the right, back the giant, but still zoning a little bit just to make him think about what he might do if you want to risk a terror check on some charges and so on, and then the giant can easily move out of the way. Starting to move the Scratapult towards the right, and here I correct my mistake and look now that way to move behind Impassable. In my magic phase, I was out of range of most things. I try a Sword of Insect on his dragon, on some dragon, I don't remember which one, but I fail. And then I put +1 resilience on the giant in case he tried to blast me. I got 1 indirect shot on cavalry and killed 2 guys. He passes panic check. His turn 1, he moved forward but not too quick. As you can see, my trapper went back as well. He moved forward with most of his stuff, but still decided not to push here, but more moving towards me, towards this bottom part of the map. In magic phase, he got 2d6 strength 4 on the giant that had res 6, so I just suffered 1 wound. And then he was able, with 2 dice, to get some small Raven Swing to move towards the bottom with his Griffon Lord. My turn 2, I continue to push him. Magic phase, I failed Swarm of Insect again, got Trial Face on his Ancient Dragon. This time I had range. As you can see, I was able to back and start to form a solid battle line with all my threats. Those guys marched 12 to not be chargeable by the Griffin. Forgot to mention that. So yeah, failed trial. Trial of Fate did 1 wound to his general, so starting to do wounds. And then Honor of Heaven on the general as well did nothing. Shooting, I killed 2 cavalry, and the other one misfires 2, so is not able to shoot for the rest of the game. He passes another panic check. His turn 2, he continue to push, but still not too fast. As you can see, he respect my battle line. So here I have some interesting positioning, was the positioning of the Death Star that was able to zone the bottom part, but also the Ancient Dragon. And that's something that I'm going to try to keep as long as possible, which is zoning the Ancient as well. Because Ancient alone could say at some point, yeah, let's risk some Tusker charge, I should be fine. So that was quite important for me because my Great Khan build could be a potential counter and I have bruises and so on. So yeah, I have solutions. So I continue to push forward, basically put his Griffin behind those guys to force a march check and maybe get me later on. The rest, he just pushed the cavalry towards his secondary objective, but as you can see, yeah, it's not so aggressive towards me. Could have started in a corner and tried still to rush me a bit, which is not at the moment looking like it's going to do. Fireball did 1 wound to my giant, Silver Spike did another wound, so I still have 4 wounds left on the giant. My turn 3, continue to back off here, especially the giant that has 4 wounds remaining. I back off as fast as I can to be basically as far away as possible from the Pyro Mage, and then I just position the Death Star and the Catapult in a way that if he pushes here with the Griffin and Pyro Mage, I can propose multiple charges. I'm still with the Death Star managed to zone him, so he needs to be out of charge range to push somewhere here, which gives me time, and still the Tusker are not chaffable. Also something that I checked carefully during the game is basically what has his chaff option, because his ability to push me relies on the chaff. And as you can see, I kill two here, so he decided to hide them to basically try to give me 0 points. And here I failed the march check, so I just moved 6, which is, yeah, was always going to happen. So now he has an easy charge with the chariot. In the magic phase, I got Trial of Fate on his general, did 0 wound again. Swarm of Insect failed again, sorry, but 0 wound this time. Last round I did 1 wound, so this time 0 wound. Swarm of Insect nothing, shooting I killed somehow one of the cavalry. I don't know if it was with the remaining catapult or some shot from the Great Khan, I don't know. Or the Khan. And that's it, his turn 3, he charges with the chariot, my Trafnan, and decided to flee because this would open up a situation where I would need to counter charge, and I don't have so much trust in my catapult to deal with the chariot, and then he could counter charge and get more points. At the moment, catapult tribesmen are not giving him 11-9, so I felt I can flee that one and just let him fail charge. He suffered a couple of DTs and ended up here. Other than that, yeah, he started slightly to move his Ancient Dragon towards the bottom of the map to move away from my Death Star. So he's putting as much space as possible between the Griffin and the Ancient Dragon that are the main threats in his list. But still, the chaff is still quite far away from the main Tusker unit here. In the magic phase, he got 2d6 strength 4 on the catapult, did 2 wounds, Fireball did nothing, and then he got some Quicksilver Lash on the Tusker, so Twist Spell is not bad, and did 2 wounds to my Tusker. No, it was the shooting, sorry. Shooting did 2 wounds on the Tusker with 10 grey, these guys, Grey Watcher shots. And here, as you can see, prepared a situation where if I charge those guys, I would overrun into them, he could counter-charge me with dragons and so on. My turn 4, I started to move back, as you can see, so I created enough space. Now there is a good distance between us. I want to continue to zone him and do range damage, but at the moment I'm quite happy with the 10-10 on this matchup. I use the Trial of Fate on this time. The Griffin did 0 wound, Hand of Heaven did 1 wound, Catapult killed 5 of those guys, so there is only one Scrata that shot at 6 up, and basically I'm quite unlucky with magic and lucky with Scrata that gives me 0 point, which is bringing me nowhere. But I killed 5 of the 9 guys here, which create a panic, but he passed the panic, and only 1 wound to the Griffin. His turn 4, he decided to hide the Griffin, wants to give me 0 points, so he is also fine with this situation. Push slightly on the top, but we're still far away from each other. I try to prepare his chaff to try to come chaff something, but still quite far away. Binding Scroll 2d6 strength 4, Quicksilver Lash did 1 wound, so basically here I wanted to protect my catapult and give him 0 point from his pyro magic. That's why I use the binding now, and he did Quicksilver Lash 1 wound to those guys that were still 2 model remaining. My turn 5, I continue to move back, and basically now the distance is too much. Even if he march, I can turn around, move away. Here I even, I turn around those 2 remaining guys and move 8 to be able to march next round and be really far away, and the Gingat can basically, if he push, turn around and move away from the hill, and then he's going not be able to get any charge. And here I just covered some angle for the Pyro Mage not to move out on turn 5. Magic Phase, Trial Phase on his Mage here, did again 0 wound, and then I get a Wrath of God somewhere here where there is all his scoring unit. We'll see, maybe I can get lucky on secondary. He's turn 5, as you can see, Wrath of God is here. He moves away from the Wrath of God with everybody, but still be able to score on the last round. Moves the Pyro Mage here to try to get some spells. Yeah, basically, like we were. I dispel 2d6 strength 4, Fireball did nothing on my Scrotapple, so I'm still fine now with the 10-10. My last turn. Move out of the way. Yeah, he also got some wounds, as you can see, on the Tuskus with a lash or spike, and I'm alive with one guy full wound, so I was able to move. You like to be single model in that position, move out of the way. I back off as much as I could. The wounded Scrotapple, try to, yeah, do what I can, but he can still march and blast him last round. Swarm of Insect did 0 wound to his mage. He dispelled a trial or something, and then shooting I kill another 3 cavalry, but still give me 0 points. I don't know which one, just to create panic check, but he was able to pass it. Wrath of God didn't come down. His last round, find spot to be as far away as possible from the Wrath of God. A BSB Journal are here, try to provide leadership, and the rest just move forward to blast me. He will be able to get some blast on the Scrotapple, kill it, so he gets the point from Scrotapple to 11-9, and the Wrath of God doesn't come down. So that's life. In hindsight, I should have placed it here in the middle of the scoring zone to be able to, no matter what happens, if it comes down, it hits, it has higher chance of hitting cavalry basically. So I should have placed it here really in the middle of his secondary, but yeah, that's life. So that's how we ended up. It's 11-9, I took 0, he took 1 Scrotapple, 2 Tribesmen, which is 11-9. No big regrets on the Tribesmen because it's still 11-9 only with the Scrotapple. Post game, not much to say. I was happy to block a game that was dangerous for me. Success in Magic decided the win, and lucky hit with Scrotapple didn't matter at all. That's it, basically. We ended up still winning the round, so me on a 9, a big win from our green matchup. Coco managed to do the difference in the Warrior Mirror that was a yellow. And Louis on the explosive matchup lost to Marx playing Vermin Swarm, which ended up being a 47-33. Is that enough to win the tournament? I will not spoil you for those of you that didn't see it on New Recruit. Basically, I will talk about that in my conclusion video, as I usually do. Guys, that's it for this battle report. I know it could be not the most interesting battle report to watch, but for me, it's still quite interesting to analyze which small differences in the way of zoning with the right unit, watching what he can do with his chaff, making some diversion in deployment, about playing for the second target, all these small aspects, the finesse, I should say, basically is a difference between just cornering and getting rushed at and having a big chance of getting tabled, or cornering, moving out of the corner in a false aggression move, and then moving back and managing this distance. All this kind of small stuff that is pretty important to be able to completely nullify the matchup, and we were both, I think, happy with that. Especially me in my position, I felt we had the edge. Basically, before the round, we were first place, so I felt it's up to him to take the risk. And if I'm able to nullify and get something close to a 10, I'm quite happy with it on this matchup, basically. Guys, thanks a lot for watching the battle report. I hope you liked it, and talk to you soon on the channel for the conclusion. Bye bye.